Hope that my husband's disappearance can be solved and that my family can achieve truth and justice, peace and closure. But over the years, the hope has grown thinner. Enforced disappearances affected many people in Thailand, not just my family. But many are afraid to seek justice, to seek truth. They are scared because they have been threatened, especially in the South. Many of them do not access to justice. Sometimes they are paid to stay silent. When Somchai disappeared in 2004 under the Thaksin Shinawatra regime, we were offered money. I was raising 5 children who have now grown up without their father. We were offered money and a scholarship for my daughters to study abroad. But in return, we had to remain silent. We decided not to accept any money back then, but to continue to fight, to battle for justice. As you know, the battle has been continuing for 10 years. My husband Somchai knew a lot about injustice. As soon as the son of a poor farmer, he knew about suffering, exploitation, and other social injustice. That's what inspired him to become a lawyer, to help marginalized people. Somchai has a genuine and strong belief in justice process. He respected defendants in many high-profile cases, including the 6 Ramkhamhaeng University students who were charged with treason and communist acts. The case of the Chulalongkorn University student who was planted with drugs, and many cases in the Deep South. At the time of Somchai's disappearance, the situation in Deep South of Thailand, which was already bad, had gotten even worse. Under the so-called counter-terrorism policy of Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra, Somchai was helping to represent 5 villagers from Narathiwat province who has been arrested and subject to torture. He wrote to complain to various agencies to ask the authorities to urgently investigate the case. Just only one day after he had lodged the complaints, he was abducted by a group of men who later was identified as police officers. Somchai's enforced disappearance has brought enormous change to my life. From being an ordinary housewife with barely any knowledge of the law, I had to struggle to raise my children through this difficult and upsetting while trying to figure out a way to expedite justice for the father of my children. I always said, even though the justice process may not bring his life back, but it should not be allowed to avoid the responsibility to give justice back to Somchai. In the past 10 years, I have tried very hard to achieve justice. The Yingluck government has given me compensation, but the money cannot restore the dignity of the victim. And despite this compensation, there has never been one word of apology by the government or the loyal Thai police. Even though the government has changed several times in the past 10 years, the senior police have not. Under the government of Abhisit Vejchajiva, which came after the Thaksin government, some of the senior Royal Thai police officers which were involved in Somchai case were removed or transferred to what we call in Thailand inactive posts. But now under the Yingluck government, they are come back and in very prominent positions. So we keep on round in circles. Governments change, but the police stay the same. As I have discovered, it's almost impossible in Thailand for an ordinary person to reach out for justice and the rule of law in human rights abuse cases. It's difficult to convey how traumatic to experience can be bear witness to the fact that a person who did so much for so many people is not even bestowed with the gravestones where his descendants can hold a service in memory of him. At the 24th session of the Human Rights Council held in Geneva last September, Prime Minister Yingluck told Human Rights Commissioner Ms. Navi Pillay and an international audience that Thailand is committed to human rights. But where is the evidence of this? The people or persons responsible for the enforced disappearance of my husband are free to step forward and ask for a pardon for my apologize. I could accept an apology. What I can't accept is that 10 years on, we're still fighting for justice. No one has been convicted and there is no guarantee this sort of thing won't happen again. This culture of impunity needs to be stopped, but not just for me or my family, but for hundreds of others who have suffered similar injustice. I thank you.